Today we're going to be talking about identifying problems in your business and in your content. Because the only way to improve in anything in life is to identify and know exactly what the problem is so you can start solving it, right? Let's just put this into perspective. Let's say you're in math class and they put like an equation up there with X and Y, and y'all know in school when they started putting letters in there with the numbers and stuff. And when we first saw that, we're like, well, what do we do? How do you do that? Right? We don't know until we learn how to actually deal with the problem, right? But we have to understand what the problem is. So when we see those things with the X and Y's, I'm about to go in a tunnel. But when you see those equations with the X and Y's and stuff, you're like, well, how do I even solve this? What am I doing? It already has an equal to. This side is equal to this side. How am I supposed to, like, what's going on? We're used to 2 + 2 equals something. Or what minus what, or what times what, or something equals, we're trying to find the equal to. Now all of a sudden, the equation is like, this equals this, solve it. What? How? And then we learned and they taught us, right? But pretty much what I'm trying to say with what that is we have to identify the problem. So usually the problem that we're used to is this plus this equals something. We got to find what it equals. Or something did something to something and we got to find out what it equals. Now something equals something else. And we're like, well, what do we do now? It's already solved, right? We got to identify the problem. So what the teacher will teach us is we actually have to find the X or the Y. And then you have to do it on each side and PEMDAS and all that good stuff. I don't really remember math like that, but I'm sure y'all understand what I'm saying. You get the concept. We didn't know how to solve the problem until we identified exactly what we're actually trying to solve. We're not trying to find out what equals to or what is going to equal because it's already equal to each other. We need to find out what X and Y can be to make this true, right? That's the real problem we're trying to solve. It's the same thing in life. It's the same thing with business. It's the same thing with content. So what I'm trying to say is if you want to improve in any area of life, but if in specifics, what I'm going to be talking about today is business and content, you're going to have to identify a specific problem that you need to start solving, right? Now, how do you identify problems? Well, you have to look in the mirror and you have to think, what am I not happy with? What do I want my life to, or my business to be like? Or what do I want my content to be like? And get very specific so you can identify exactly what the problem is, right? So I'm just going to use a couple examples. This is not going to be like a step-by-step video. This is going to be more of like a concept video of me using examples, and then you have to put 2 and 2 together. But basically, let's say you're doing content, right? You're recording, and let's say you're studying. Hopefully you watch my other videos so you know kind of the process that we do here. If not, go watch some of them other videos. But let's say you're studying, you find a video that you want to recreate, a video that's very successful, and you want to recreate the video. And then you do it, and you're like, the video looks good, but for some reason, my quality is just not as good as this person's content, right? It's like the quality of my video is just ass compared to them. So that's the problem, okay? The problem is the quality. You want to improve the quality of your content, of your actual video itself. Okay, so now we identified the problem, but we have to get more specific. Well, exactly what is the problem? The problem is quality, but what is it? Is it because they have a better camera? Is it because they're using better lighting? Is it, there could be multiple different things with quality. Let's say you figure out, you do some research on this person's page that you're studying, and you see that they use an iPhone just like you. Okay, well, what type of iPhone? Does he have a newer iPhone? Is he recording in 4K? Sorry, there's something on my screen. But it's like, okay, we know the main problem is the quality, but now we have to get specific. What is the actual problem? Do I need to buy a new something to record? Is it the lighting? It could be the lighting, right? Maybe you guys have the same phone, so now you're like, okay, well, we're using the same thing to record with, so it can't be my phone because he's just using his phone or they're using their phone. What is it? Well, maybe it's the lighting. Lighting really affects the quality of images when you're recording, especially with phones. Lighting is a huge thing. So it could be the lighting. So then you say, okay, it's not the phone. We know the main problem is the quality, but in specific, it's not the phone. So it must be the lighting. Well, what am I using with my lighting? Well, I have a ring light, but I'm recording into a window where he has this creator has ring lights, but they use a backdrop. So there's pretty much no background. Okay, boom. So now we're getting specific. We're thinking, we're using our head and thinking what specifically is going on here. Okay, bow. This person, they don't have any other light source shining into the light. Where me, when I recorded, I have a window behind me and the window is shining into the light, making the quality bad, right? Okay, so now in specific, the main problem is lighting. And in more specific, the quality is messed up with the lighting because of this window. You see how we're identifying the problem? Okay, now we know the real problem, right? There's always a main problem, a specific problem, and then the real problem, okay? The main problem is the quality. The specific problem is, the main problem is like the overall problem. The specific problem is, okay, the specific problem is like a step further, which is like, what is causing this problem? And then the real problem is exactly like what needs to change in order to solve this problem. So again, the main problem, the quality, the specific problem, boom, the light coming, the lighting, and then the real problem is the window is messing up the lighting. So now that we know what the real problem is, how do we solve that problem? Close the damn curtains. Get a backdrop. Move the angle so the lighting from the window is not affecting your lighting when you record. You see how easy that was to solve? When you get very specific and get to the real problem. So again, keep that. I just made that up off the top of my head, but we're going to keep it going. So that's how you identify the main problem. You get that's how you identify the real problem in order to solve things in your life and in your business, and in order to improve things in your life and in your business and in your content, right? Identify what the main problem is, which is the overall problem. Then what is the specific problem? Like, what is happening that's causing that? And then what's the real problem? What's the thing that will change in order to solve that problem, right? So bow, let's do another example. So most businesses and content creators, most businesses that are creating content, or most service-based businesses in general, barbers, lash techs, nails, doing hair, let's say you're a cleaning service, anything that provides a service. Most service-based industries have the same problem, but we're gonna start it from the top. So the main problem is I'm not making enough money, right? I'm doing something, but I still have like a main job, and I'm doing this service industry on the side because it's just not enough money for me to quit my job. Or, I'm doing something, but I still live at home. I don't have a car. I would like to make more money, but, I own a business, so I'm okay, right? But you would want to make more money. So the main problem is, okay, I want to make more money. I want to make more money for whatever purpose. The purpose could be, I want to get a car. The purpose could be, I want to get my own place to live at. Like, there could be many purposes for making more money, but everybody wants to make more money, right? So that's the main problem. A lot of people have that problem. They need more money. More money you have, the more things you can buy for yourself, and you can upgrade your life. So it's not just about materialistic stuff. You can literally upgrade your living situation with money, and you can impact other people more when you have more money. So money is not a bad thing. Let's get that out of here. If you're watching this video, you probably don't think that anyway. But most people's problems with service-based industries is they want to make more money, right? That's the main problem. But let's get specific. specifically, like, why is that the problem? What's happening? Well, some people will say, oh, well, my location, I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. Most people will say, oh, I'm in Baltimore. People don't got a lot of money here. They're not willing to spend a lot of money. Or people, I'm in Baltimore. People don't really people want to go to whoever's hot, whoever's got the clout. They're not coming to me, whatever. Right? That's completely wrong. Get that out of your head. Let's get specific. What is the reason you're not making more money right now? Think very hard. Think very logically. Don't start blaming things. When we start to think of what the problem is, people start to blame shit. Like, oh, the problem is this. Like, no. Let's look in the mirror. And let's think about when we're trying to identify the problem, think about things that we can control, that we can change. We can't control other people and what decisions they make. We can't control our location. I mean, we can, but we probably need more money if we want to move somewhere, right? So we got to solve this problem first before we solve the location problem. Either way, but location isn't the problem. So what's really happening is we have to think, what is the reason I'm not making more money? As a service-based industry, well, let me put you on to something. This is going to open your mind, just like how when the teacher said, this is what we do to solve X and Y. This is the actual problem that we need to solve, right? There's only 2 ways to make more money in business. There's only 2 ways. The 2 ways to make more money in business is getting more clients or charging more. That's it. That's the only way to make more money in your business. You need more people, right? Or more services, let's say, right? Not even more people, but more services, because more people, more services, we'll put that in the same category, or you charge more money. Now, let me explain this. Let's say you get 20 clients every week and you make $1,000, right? So you're doing your 20 clients every week. It could be 40 for the whole month, but let's just say every week you do 20 people and you make $1,000, right? Every week on a consistent basis, but you want to make more money. Well, how can you make more money? Well, you could make more money if some of those 20 people came twice in 1 week. Then you would make more money, right? Or if you charge them more, if you say, hey, everything is raised by $5, now you're making more money from those 20 people, right? What's the other version? Well, you get new clients into your business. Now what? Okay, now I got 24 people this week. Now I'm making more money. You see what I'm saying? So it's either more people / more services. It's pretty much the same thing, right? Because we all know, like, people aren't going to get the same service twice in 1 week. Come on now. Let's use our logic now. Maybe over a month, we can say if people book more appointments in a whole month, then we can make more money per month. But for this example, we're using the week, right? The only ways to make more money is getting more clients, doing more services, because more clients are coming to get the service, or charging more money, right? So if your problem in business and is making more money, which is a lot of us, is the first problem, how do you solve that problem? Well, what's the specific problem? Well, let me tell you, in order to raise your price, you don't want to just raise your price out the blue if you're only getting 20 clients per week, right? You know why? Because some people might not be able to afford that price. They might not like that price raise. So then what's going to happen is you're going to raise your price to try to make more money, but you're most likely going to lose some people. But the price increase will probably balance it out. So it's like you'll be doing less services, but you'll be making the same amount of money. So it's not that. If your problem is you want to make more money in your service-based industry, in your business, that's the main problem. That's the main problem. The specific problem is you need new clients. You need more people to know about you. Okay? So that is the main problem. I mean, that's the specific problem. The main problem, I need more money. Specific problem, you need more clients. Can anybody take a guess on what the real problem is? Well, let's think. Let's think about it. If the specific problem is I need more clients to make more money, right? how can I get more clients? What's the real problem here? How do you get more clients? I got one answer for you. It's marketing, right? Marketing yourself. Getting yourself out there to be discovered. So more people know about you, then more people will want to spend money with you. If nobody knows you exist, how will you get new people? Now you can say, oh, well, when I do my service, people will spread the word. There's word of mouth. I can pass out business cards. You can do that. But I beg to differ. I want to argue with you for a minute. Not argue with you, but I want to make a point with you that if that were true, you'd already be getting more clients from the people that you already do the service for. If word of mouth was true. Right? Maybe every once in a while, you'll get some new client, or you'll get a new client and they'll say, oh, my cousin comes to you and he told me about you, or my nephew or niece, or my daughter or my son, whatever the case may be, right? Or my friend, something like that. But that's really once in a blue moon, right? Let's be honest. Or even if it is often, think about how often would be if we use the power of social media. Let's just think about that. Word of mouth, it's a chance. It's a slight chance that somebody might put you on and bring other people. Right? With social, and let's say they talk to 20 people in their life. Right? With social media, you can post a trash video and 100 people see it. You see the difference? I'm not going to spend too much time on that. We should all know that. So, if your problem right now is you want to make more money in your business, that's the main problem. The specific problem is you need more clients. And the real problem is you need to do better marketing. That's the real problem. That's the thing you need to improve on, is your marketing. Okay? So you need to focus on marketing. If you don't know how to market yourself good, go watch some of my other videos or join my course, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to start applying pressure on social media and in your business and in life. But yeah, that was just an example for you. I want to give one more example of a life example, right? I've given a real life example. I've given a business example. I want to give an example that actually happened in my life, just so you can really know how to apply identifying problems to your whole life and improve your life in general. Everything is not just about business and money, right? So for example, a few years ago, I was living at home with my family. I was living in the basement, and we had a dog. My dog's name was Congo. Now, I'm in the trenches for real. I'm in Baltimore City. I'm in West Baltimore, Park Heights. If anybody knows about it, whatever, that's where I'm from. That's where I was living at. Basically, our house, we didn't have the fence was very low. And our dog started to jump over the fence and run around the neighborhood. Right? So, he knew he wasn't supposed to, but sometimes he would do it. Right? So what would happen was, our parents started getting mad. I living at home. I'm like an adult. I'm like 20, 21 years old. But I have 3 younger siblings. And what happened is, our parents will be out working or whatever the case may be, and the dog will run away, and the kids would get in trouble. We would get in trouble for it. It would be like, you gotta watch Congo when he's outside. You left Congo out too long. You taught him how to do that. They get mad at me because I used to go out the back because I lived in the basement. So I used to go out the back, and I guess I taught Congo how to jump over the fence. He just followed me one day. I didn't teach him shit. Just one day I left out the back and he just jumped over the fence and followed me. And that's what happened. But long story short, my parents would always blame us, the kids, for the dog running around the neighborhood. And the dog would always come back. Congo would always come back. But he'd run around the neighborhood. Our neighbors would start getting mad at us. He was a big black pit bull. He would never bite or hurt anybody, but he's running around the neighborhood. They don't want that. He's running around the neighborhood, and then he's bringing the germs and the bugs, or fighting other dogs, and then he's coming back home, bringing that in the house. They don't want that. And this happened a lot, and every time it would happen, we would get in trouble. It was so bad where sometimes the dog would run away, and we would chase him around the neighborhood and try to get him back to the house before our parents got home so we didn't get in trouble. Right? Now let's identify the problems here. Right? The main problem is the dog is running away. Right? The dog is running away. That's the main problem. That's what's causing a ruckus. He keeps jumping over the fence out back. He's jumping over the fence out back. Right? The problem is not okay, so that's the main problem. The main problem is the dog is jumping over the fence, he's running away. Right? Let's get specific. What's the specific problem? Well, my parents thought the specific problem was you taught him how to jump the fence. You're not watching him when he goes out back. You're leaving him out back too long. When he's done using the bathroom, you need to bring him back in. Right? So the problem was us. The problem was the kids. To them. But I'm going to tell you right now, that wasn't the actual specific problem. So the main problem, and this is why you have to think, and you have to think logically when you're identifying a problem if you want to solve something in your life. Because that wasn't the problem. So the main problem is the dog is running away. What's the specific problem? The specific problem is, well, he knows how to jump the fence. Right? If he didn't know how to jump the fence, if he could not jump the fence, he could not run away. It would literally be impossible for him to run away because he can't get over the fence. He can't get out the gate. It would be impossible. Right? That's the specific problem. If you think logically. If you put all emotions and all blame, again, most people, just like my parents, I love my parents. I have great parents. But, you know, everybody goes through things with their family. I'm just using this as an example. Most people, when they're trying to identify a problem, they start to blame things instead of thinking logically about problems. So again, there was a problem. The problem is the dog keeps jumping the gate and running around the neighborhood. What do? They start to blame. Blame the kids. You taught them how to do it. Y'all not watching them enough. You're leaving them outside too long. Right? Blame. We got to stop doing that. We have to think logically when we're thinking about problems. What's the specific problem? The problem is the dog knows how to jump the gate. Because at first he didn't. Now he has confidence to jump the gate on a consistent basis. That's the specific problem. So what's the main problem? What's the real problem? Right? If he knows how to jump the gate, can anybody take a guess on what the real problem is? The real problem is the fucking gate. It's the gate. The gate is too little. So what do we need to do? We need to get a bigger gate. Or we need to fucking, get like the big fence, the big wooden, like the wood privacy fences. We had like a little gate, a little gate, a regular gate. Wasn't big enough. Okay? So the real problem is we need to get a better gate that he can't jump out of. Okay? Once we did that, all the problems were solved. And when I tell you there was I'm telling you months of fucking trauma from the dog jumping the fucking gate. Kids getting yelled at, arguing, all type of shit. I'm not saying this, I'm not trying to put my parents on blast or nothing like that. I'm using this as a real life example because maybe some people have been through things like this, right? And so I want to put in perspective how much thinking logically about problems can really help you, not only in business and in content, but in life, right? Months of BS happened because of this. Months of BS. So, I tell you this to tell you, identify what the real problem is by identifying the main problem and then getting specific with your problem. Okay? That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do in business. That's what we got to do with content. That's what we got to do in life. All right? So let's start doing that so we can start bettering everything. Because you can't fix anything. You can't make anything better if you don't actually know what the actual problem is. So again, we went over a content piece. with the lighting and the quality. We went over a business piece with making more money. And we went over a real life thing with the math equation and the dog example, right? So there we go. That's how you identify what the real problems are in your life and in your business and in content. So you can go ahead and start solving problems to better your business and better your life. All right. Again, keep this system in mind. The main problem, which is the overall problem, the specific problem, which is like, why is this happening? Why is this the main problem? And then the real problem, which is what you can actually solve to make this better. All right. Keep that in mind. Use that system when identifying problems to better your life. And when you use it, make sure to keep applying pressure.